Oh, we are live, back in action, attacking your speakers from the field to the bleachers. This is our 32 podcast with my main man, Mr. Primetime 313 David Dale. I am the sports prophet, ready for another hour of power, NFL and fantasy football talk. We appreciate you all. As always, you guys in the chat, you make the show go and flow. You can better than before, you know. So we're ready to rock and roll. My man, D, what's going on, kid?
What up, though? How you doing? It's starting to get chilly up here. It's starting to feel like Michigan in October. And I know you being, from New York, like you said before, you don't miss this at all. But it's kind of cool to be, live in a place where you actually have seasons. It's not like down there, you guys got hot and then you got hotter. And the humidity and all that other stuff, man. It's just like, what, up here, we get our nice 4 little seasons. And, so right now it's starting to be like 50 in the afternoon and like 36 in the morning. So,
well, hey man, I can't be feeling bad for you. I'm from the Northeast. I'm from New York. I moved down here. I'm telling you the same thing. You just got to pick up and move on down to Florida, and you don't have to worry about that cold weather anymore. You'll be all good to go.
I know that's right. Yeah, Florida. I was thinking about maybe if we moved down south, it might be like Texas or something. But
all right,
Texas, all right. The weather is just as horrible down there. From
the bugs in
humidity.
Florida.
Oh my.
The bugs in Florida, they're crazy. Like, they drive cars and shit. Some of these things are like, I swear to God. But then you get like really tiny ones. Like I got like little Ant-Mans in my kitchen, like by my sink. Like, they're microscopic. I feel like they went into the quantum realm and they're like microscopic little things. But they're driving me crazy because it's like if they find the tiniest crumb somewhere, they all converge on it like a bunch of freaking monsters. They're crazy.
It's crazy because like up here, people freak out with like a little ant or something like that in there. And oh my God, we have ants. Well, you're gonna get ants here and there in the summertime, but like you guys down there, like you say, you got your bugs like walk among you down there.
Yeah,
he's got like actual life size pimento bugs and man, the gators and the snakes and the mosquitoes and. Yeah, it's definitely not a good. Florida to me is like a place great to visit, but would I want to live there? I don't know.
Look, the weather, it really helps. Yes, it does get crazy hot during the summertime, but yeah, when you have roaches with wings, that's a little freaking freaky.
It's like bats.
Yeah, for real, man. I mean, these things, they're probably venomous and shit. I don't even know. I stay away from them. I'll tell you, man. I got some stories, but I won't waste time with that. But we got a lot of stuff to get to today, man. We got to do some mid-season awards, go over some news, of course. But as always, we start with NFL trivia before we get to our freaky fantasy football draft, make our picks, tell you guys how we did last week, what the score is. But NFL trivia, here we go. Are you ready for this week's?
As ready as I'm going to be.
All right. Well, Mr. Aaron Rodgers could have been the 5th quarterback to beat all 32 teams in the loss to his former team, Green Bay Packers, just a couple of nights ago. So there are 4 quarterbacks who have beat all 32 teams. Can you name them?
Oh, man. Tom Brady, I think, is one.
Tom Brady is certainly one.
Peyton Manning, I think, is another.
Yeah, you're on a roll so far. You got 2 out of 4.
It's not Drew Brees because he stayed with the Saints. Oh, wait, no. He started with the Chargers. Did they play the Saints during that time? I don't know. I think Drew Brees, there was some. I don't know if he really actually played everybody. He probably did, but I'm gonna, for the sake of not talking myself, I'm gonna say Drew Brees.
Good. Don't talk yourself out of it. Way to go, Drew Brees. That is 3.
And
that is 3 out of 4.
The one I'm probably suspecting it might be a little older. I'm gonna go out on no. Shit.
You've been doing well. You got 3 out of 4. You haven't missed
I'm gonna
yet.
go here. This one's probably a shot in the dark, a big time shot in the dark. I'm gonna say it's 1 or 2 guys. It's probably not Jared Goff. Is it Matthew Stafford?
That is a great guess, given the fact that he went to LA 4 years ago, but it is not. It is another quarterback, a legendary quarterback who went from a team that he played for a really long time ended up with a division rival and beat them, swept them actually the first year that he got to that team. That would be the Minnesota Vikings, and the quarterback is Brett Favre.
Oh, damn. I see, I did it again. I said it'd probably be an older quarterback. I didn't go back far enough. Wow.
But you were on the right track.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to go with somebody who was with one team for a while, obviously, and then got traded later on in his career, or vice versa with Drew Brees, who did it early in his career and then got traded later. No, got traded early in his career and whatnot. So otherwise, yeah, very good job, man. Not bad.
3 out of 4. And it's all good. It's all good.
Take it, brother. It ain't bad. It ain't bad. All right. That's NFL trivia, as we always start off with. My man. Yeah, so we got to talk about the tush push a little bit more, because I was watching this game with a friend. We went out, had all the screens on, all the games, everything. It was freaking awesome. Loved it. Ate some food, had a few beers, had a good time. But watched another tush push play where it was clear as day. Your boy, Kayvon Thibodeaux, clearly stripped it out of Jalen Hurts' hands before the whistle was blown, or before forward progress, and before any of that. The referees seem to, maybe the Eagles have him in their pocket. I don't know what it is, but everything that they do, whether it's a false start or it's Jalen Hurts with the forward progress like we saw against the Giants over the weekend, this is ridiculous. Now, I've been talking about not wanting to see Jalen Hurts' ass. I'm done seeing this play. I think they might end up ruling it out because it's not being officiated properly. If it was being officiated properly, then I don't have a problem with it. But it seems like every week something else comes up.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind when I think about that play is that, how do you know when to stop forward progress? And I think that was part of the issue with the Thibodeaux strip on Taylor. At what point do you call, okay, you blow the whistle and it's forward progress on a play that is so abstract and so out of the ordinary, even though Philadelphia has made it ordinary the last few years? I agree with you 100%. I have never been a fan of this play. A lot of people say, well, it's a football play. You got to learn how to stop it. But at the same time, it gets old after a while. And now you're starting to get to the point where it's starting to cost people possessions. It's starting to cost, I'm not going to say it cost them the game, but in the grand scheme of things, who knows what that strip fumble and that stop touchdown would have led to, for the Giants, who've been playing the Eagles relatively tough, this year. Doubled up on them the first game of the season, and
there's a tie game at the point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's like a turning point of the game. So I don't know. I probably wouldn't go so far as like the whole conspiracy, like in the pocket type thing, but there has to be a point where the referees and maybe during the off season or something, either they ban it or they come out with a clear and concise definition of what that play actually is, because you're getting, like I say, you're getting to the point now where you're starting to cost games and outcomes and stuff like that. So, it's all fun and dandy when you're up 14 and you keep running it, like in the Super Bowl, they ran or the NFC Championship game last year, they ran like 8 times, and Washington kept jumping off sides, and then the abstract rule that you can actually award the touchdown. It's like, why are we making such a special effort for one of the worst plays in the history of the league?
That's my point. What the hell's going on with this freaking play, man? I mean, look, 22 out of 32 teams approved it last year. You need 24. I think they'll get it this year. So I think the tush push may be out of here. And really, because it's being officiated so poorly, that's one of the things. And there was a lot of poor officiating, even in the Packers and the Steelers game. Mm-hmm. There was one play where it was Roger Jones, I think. He started pulling like a full second before the ball was even snapped. They didn't do anything. There was another play where Micah Parsons kind of like got in the neutral zone and he pushed accidentally Devon Wyatt, I think it was, from Green Bay, his defensive lineman. And Aaron Rodgers thought he had a free play. He threw it up. Luckily, it wasn't intercepted. But, yeah, some bad officiating going around. Bad stuff. You know what was really bad, though? The worst thing that I saw all weekend, going back to that Philly Giant game, was Cam Scatterbo. His leg taking a left turn on 44th Street, because that's his number. That looked really bad, man. That was awful looking. And you feel for him, a kid like that, and he's gone for the season. And, yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal because you were trying to build something over there and you wanted to see what you got. And you know what you got with this kid. You know you got a special kid, but it's sad to see another one go down after Malik Neighbors just went down a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, the Giants are having, a run of bad luck. This isn't just like pulled hamstrings and turf toe. These are like serious injuries. But let me get your perspective on this real quick. So there's a lot of people that say, when the injuries start piling up like this, there's a lot of people that say, well, the NFL needs to do something about these injuries. So I'm asking you, as a guy that's been around, if anything, what can the NFL do about limiting some of these injuries? Is it some of these things are just freak accidents that happen when you have 10, 12, 14, 300-pound bodies colliding and these violent collisions and these awkward bends, and these guys, I'm sure they work all off season on their flexibility, this, that, and the other. Injuries are a part of the game, and when I hear the consensus, the NFL needs, my question is always, what do you want them to do? So in your mind, if anything, what could the NFL do to kind of mitigate some of these injuries?
Nothing. If you wanted to play flag football, then go ahead and do that, and forget about all the offensive linemen or whatever. You don't need to put on pads or anything. That's the only thing. Football is a violent sport. That's the bottom line. It happens every year. It happens to the best players. It happens to the worst players. And we just have to deal with it. It really sucks because we see great players go down every year. And yeah, it kind of hurts the game a little bit, but that's the nature of the game. It's next man up, and you got to be ready to go. And that is, another thing that's special about football, and why backup quarterbacks are so important. I mean, we've already seen it this year with guys going down, like Jaden Daniels, for instance. Marcus Mariota put up a stinker against the Chiefs last night. Now, would Jaden Daniels would have won that game? Maybe not, but I bet you they would have scored more than 7 points. So, backup quarterbacks, they're at a premium, man. It's just hard. Look, the NFL is a tough game, and it is tough to play. And another guy who knows that is Patrick Surtain, the second, junior, the third, whatever he is. He's out with a left pectoral strain. He may go to the IR, and that's bad for Denver because Prime, you know what that does? And I was thinking about it today. Like, all right, so how much this is really going to affect Denver's defense? Well, a lot, because you can't just now automatically rush 4 guys and think that that's going to work without Patrick Surtain taking away one side of the field. Normally, he would either guard the number 2 guy and wipe him out, or he would guard the number 1 guy and wipe him out. Like whatever they wanted to do. Like Patrick Surtain is that kind of defender, and with him being out now, it's going to affect the entire team. There's no doubt about it. The pass rush, the secondary, the way that offenses approach them. I mean, Patrick Surtain shuts down a side of the field. No longer is that the case right now, and that can hurt Denver for a while. Hopefully, they'll get him back. But this is a team that is not just looking to win their division. They got Super Bowl aspirations after the way they played last week, beating Dallas's ass.
Yeah, and I think, you just mentioned it a little bit earlier about next man up. There's sometimes, in the case of Cam Skattebo, he was a young, exciting player. Well, he is a young, exciting player, and you just kind of, as a Giants fan, you were just kind of salivating at what could have been. In the case of Surtain, it's not that easy to have next man up because how many shutdown corners, are in the league right now? Most teams don't have 2 of them. In Denver, I think Denver's lucky enough to have a great front 7. But still, at the end of the day, when you got a guy like Patrick Surtain that you know that you can rely on him to kind of take away one side of the field or take away a team's best player or, make that key pass breakup or just, even not only quarterbacks think twice about throwing his way, but you got a lot of receivers. He's not a big hitter, but he's physical enough to where, and he has enough cachet to where as a receiver, you're kind of like, you know what? I really don't even want to go in this guy's direction because bad things are usually going to happen, whether it's,
that's right.
Whether it's a hit, whether it's a pass breakup, whether it's a pick, whether it's him just sticking to you like glue to where you can't get any separation at all. There's not a lot of guys like that in the league, but we look to what the Detroit Lions just did this past month, on Monday Night Football when they were bringing me, you, Mike Patton and Nicky Gist off the street. We're out there playing defense for these guys, and they actually played extremely well. But
Yeah, they did.
anybody
Good
can.
coaching.
That's a game. That's one game, maybe two games. But now you're looking at, like you say, Surtain could be on the IR, which is automatic. 4 weeks?
Exactly.
So Denver's going to have to make some adjustments. But that's why defensive coordinators get paid so much. Is that they got to make these kind of adjustments. You got guys that are going to be able to step up, hopefully, for the Broncos, so that they don't lose their momentum going forward the rest of the season.
Yeah. Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos, maybe will have to look to play a little bit more zone as opposed to man, and maybe have to blitz a little bit more. But then again, you're going to have to play man if you're going to do that. So he's got some decisions to make over there.
But you got playmakers like one of my guys that I have for one of our midseason awards, who we'll mention later on. So you got a couple of studs there on defense that can kind of maybe hold it down till Surtain gets back, if he's able to come back.
Yeah, there's a few guys. I'll let you mention them later. But one guy, Benito has been killing it. He's like a defensive MVP candidate right now. And speaking of candidates for awards, let's get to the midseason awards right away. So we got a few categories we're going to go through. We're not going to do the ESPN honors and do the greatest play that we've done so far. We're not going to get ridiculous like that. But we will start out with the MVP so far of the first half of the NFL season. I will let you go first, my friend. Who do you think the MVP has been so far? Oh, he's laughing already. This is going to be a good one.
Are you ready for this one, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to go, you know what? I'm going to just go out and I'm going to just say it, and I'm not even going to elaborate on it too much because his play has spoken for itself this year. I'm going to say Indiana Jones, Daniel Jones, right now is your NFL MVP. They're 7-1. They're clearly the best team in the NFL right now. They're playing well on both sides of the ball. Daniel Jones is making all the right reads, all the right decisions. He's not turning the ball over, which is key, which was one of the issues that he had when he was playing for us in New York. There's a lot of people out there that laughed at me when I said in the beginning of the season it was just a matter of time before Daniel Jones was starting for that team. I didn't know he was going to go into the season starting, but 7-1, best team in the league, best record in the league. You got the weapons, you got the coaching, and there's nobody playing better football right now than the Indianapolis Colts. So give me Daniel for the MVP right now. I think I kind of know where you're going.
Wow, Daniel Jones, 2,062 yards, 13 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, and second in the NFL in QBR with a 79.3 rating. The reason why, that's great. That's fantastic. And he's a candidate, don't get me wrong, but the reason why I go away from that is a lot of the other things that you said, that they got such a good team around him, an offensive line that doesn't let him get touched, and that lets Jonathan Taylor run for 100-plus yards pretty much every game and 3 touchdowns. You got Pittman, you got Alec Pierce, Josh Downs. Nobody really talks about him now. Tyler Warren. So you got all these weapons. But with all that being said, Daniel Jones is doing his job as well as anybody else is doing their job. So I have no problem with it. I just disagree. And I'd go to another quarterback where I don't think you know where I'm going with this one, man. Look, this guy has been playing with players that you don't know. You've never heard of most of these guys, okay? And it's a new team, and they only won 4 games last year. And this quarterback has risen from God knows where to throw 15 touchdowns, only 3 picks, over 2,000 yards. And his name is Drake May. Drake May. What he is doing with the Patriots is absolutely fantastic. Again, you know who Stephon Diggs is, but he's not the same Stephon Diggs that he was a few years ago. The man is getting older. Kayshon Boutte, Matt Collins, Mario Douglas. You got Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson. He's got good players and a good defense, and Mike Vrabel is an excellent coach, no doubt about it. So you got all those factors in there, so I can't bag on you too much. But I feel like what Drake May is doing and putting up these type of numbers with these guys is unreal. The Patriots are leading the AFC East at 6-2 right now. They have the best record right after the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, it's unbelievable what's going on. So you know what? We're in the right direction, picking the top teams and the top quarterbacks.
Well, and two, I think what we're doing as well is we're breaking away from the norm. We're breaking away from the Josh Allens and the Patrick Mahomes, and we're
Yeah.
actually giving, and again, this is just our midseason opinions, our midseason awards. Take them for what they're worth, but at the same time, it's easy to come out here and say Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. I was leaning a little bit towards Jared Goff because Jared Goff doesn't get a lot of MVP love when it comes to the grand scheme of things. Still got a
Nah,
lot
you
of
don't.
haters even after 3-4 years of just playing outstanding football. But I have with Drake May as far as your pick at all. We both at the beginning of the season that Drake May was going to be the reason why New England has a turnaround. They're 6-2. They're
For
sitting
real.
on top of the division, and they, as the season goes on, I think they're only going to get better. And who
I
knows?
agree.
They could end up being, they could end up overtaking Buffalo's reign as far as dominating that AFC East for the last five that they've been on this run.
Yeah, 6 years. Drake May throws an unbelievable deep ball. Now, here's the one thing about New England so far: they haven't really played anybody tough yet. So I want to see them beat the Bills again. I got to look at their schedule coming down the pike. You know what? Let me look it up real quick.
But
Patriots
I've
schedule.
I've never liked the game when people do that. You play who's
What, going by the schedule?
you play who's in front of you, and if you're a
That's
team at the
true.
beginning of the year that a lot of people didn't have expectations, and then all of a sudden you're beating people, it's like, well, who they play? Well, it's like last year I was included in that group of people that you were, the easy games that you were supposed to win. And now all of a sudden I'm on a streak, take number 2 team in the nation right now, Indiana Hoosiers. By the way, it's amazing that they're number 2. They
Right.
say, well, who do they play? Well, just 3 years ago, Indiana was a doormat in the Big Ten. Now all of a sudden you're asking the question, well, well, 3 years ago, we were in that pile of crap that you would say, well, Ohio State beat all these guys. Who did they play? They played Indiana. They played, Purdue. And now I can't fault the Patriots for beating the teams that are in front. They're 6-2.
No,
and
man.
Bill Parcells says you are what your record says you are. And I know you're not going there. I'm just saying, generally speaking, I've never liked the schedule argument.
They're playing good football. They've blown out a lot of teams. They blew out the Panthers. They blew out the Titans. They blew out the Browns just this past weekend. But their schedule is favorable for the most part. They got the Falcons, the Buccaneers, the Jets. Obviously, they play the Bengals, the Giants, the Bills again, the Ravens later on, the Jets, and then the Dolphins again. This team, if they keep getting better and playing well, they can have a number 1 seed. I mean, depending on what happens in Indianapolis and a couple other teams, but they're 6-2 right now with a schedule that they're going to be favored in pretty much every game except for Buffalo. So
That's
New
crazy.
England's in really good shape right now.
The New England Patriots. You heard it here first. 8 weeks
Unreal.
ago.
I think we're both going to agree on the offensive player of the year. I'm just going to say it right now because I can't imagine it being anybody else. He's got 14 total touchdowns, 12 on the ground, 3 touchdowns in 3 straight games, 850 yards already halfway through the season. Jonathan Taylor, man.
And he's got 208 receiving yards, by the way. Let's not
Wow.
forget that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor. It's not even close right now.
He
And
is
you know what?
literally running away with it.
You know what, Prophet? He could be right up there at the pace he's going if he had 1,500 yards or something like that, and 20 touchdowns. He could maybe get the MVP award that Saquon didn't get last year. What do you think?
I would love it if they, right now, no quarterback, even though we both have quarterbacks winning it. I mean, the only reason we are doing that is because we know they're going to give it to a quarterback.
Right.
But maybe if nobody has, 35, 40 touchdowns and only throws 4 or 5 interceptions or whatever and maybe it's possible. I would love to see it. I was hoping Saquon would have got it last year, but that didn't happen. But yeah, we both agree we don't have to go any further on Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year is an interesting one because, again, nobody's really standing out in this one, Prime. So I'm curious who you got.
Well, for my Defensive Player of the Year, there's a couple of different guys, but if I'm right now, I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say something that a guy that a lot of people probably don't even know about. The guy's got 9 sacks, 9.5 sacks. He's currently playing for my Super Bowl pick, and I'm going to go with Byron Young right now for the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay.
The guy is if you've got an opportunity to watch some Rams games this year, the guy is a total disruptor. He was I think a second round pick or so out of Tennessee in 2023, and he's really hitting his stride this year. And a young player to go along with your boy, Mr. Verse. It looks like, the Rams are picking up right where they left off as far as having a really good defensive line. And if you haven't had an opportunity to watch this guy, the next Rams game comes on TV this weekend. You really need to check this guy out. Realistically, he probably won't get it because he's not a household name. But, somebody like Myles Garrett, maybe, who's leading the league in sacks right now with 10. My guy from New York, Brian Burns, also right up there with the sack total. But right now, like I say, this is just for shits and giggles, all for fun. I'm going to go Byron Young right now for the Los Angeles Rams.
All right, I like it, man. That's an out-of-the-box one that not a lot of people are saying. That's for sure. Actually, I haven't heard anybody say it, so that's a good job out of you, and it's definitely worthy because that defense has been awesome, and he's been one of the anchors on that defense. I have no problem with that answer. I'll go a different way, and it's an obvious name. The numbers really aren't there. He's only got, I think, 6.5 sacks this year, but Micah Parsons has totally changed that defense, man. I mean, he's opened it up for Rashawn Gary, for Wyatt, for everybody. The secondary is playing better football as a result of Micah Parsons being there. And he's just going to keep getting better and better the more that he learns, the more he's in the defense. But, he's playing his linebacker. He's playing defensive line. He's taking control. He is disrupting the quarterback. He's getting double teamed. He's doing everything to make Green Bay's defense what it is. Yeah, they let up 25 points against Pittsburgh, but some of that was a little bit in the fourth quarter and whatnot. But Green Bay's defense is solid, and I think Michael Parsons is the reason for it. So I'm going to go with him right now because I don't really see anybody else standing out, and I just see him disrupting the game constantly.
And you're exactly right. And speaking of Rashawn Gary, doesn't Rashawn Gary have like Rashawn Gary is on his way to a career year right now. I think he's got like 7.5 sacks or something like that. So
right, and that's no coincidence.
Is part of he's got 7.5 sacks. He's right ahead of Micah Parsons, for the team lead. So that's, I think, a direct byproduct of having a guy like Micah Parsons on your team. When we always say, well, he makes everybody around him better, this is like the perfect example of that.
No doubt about it. And it's funny how Dallas is missing a defensive player like him so freaking badly.
Did you watch the broadcast this week when they kept saying how, Dallas is missing that pass rusher? They're missing that pass rusher. It's like, wow, really? You just had one.
But, you had him. You just had to pay him the money, which you had also. But no, you wanted to be stubborn, and now look what happens. And now you let up 44 points to the freaking Broncos like it was nothing. Simple, easy, no problem. Jeez.
Right.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, as we go through a couple more categories over here. This one, I went back and forth a little bit with a couple of guys, but I still landed on Emeka Egbuka, and I'm not going to hold it against him that he's been hurt the last couple of games. He kind of limped into that last game against New Orleans, but as he gets healthier, he's already got 34 catches, 562 yards, so well on his way to over 1,000 already. And with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans down, he's doing his thing, man. 5 touchdowns. I like Emeka Egbuka, man. So I'm going to go with him, wide receiver out of Tampa Bay for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you at all. And I think he's, 7th in the league overall in receiving yards. So
something like that, yeah.
You really can't, and he's a rookie. He's playing with a quarterback like Baker Mayfield, who's making it a point to, to get him the ball. And fortunately, however you want to look at it, he's had the opportunities because of the injuries to Godwin and Evans and Bucky Irving, for that matter, and he's really benefited. But a lot of guys get those opportunities, Prophet, and you and I both know this. A lot of guys get that opportunity, but they don't step up and take it. And Egbuka right now, it's like the perfect storm for him. He's playing with a good offensive scheme that's allowing him to get open. He's playing with a quarterback like Baker Mayfield, who's going to throw you the football if you're the hot guy. He's averaging like 16 yards a catch. He's doing everything. He's playing, and that's kind of a complicated offense that Tampa Bay's running. You know, it's not
Yeah.
like they're coming in and running like the Army Navy offense where it's wishbone right, wishbone left. So I'm not mad at you at all for that pick.
All right, no doubt. Well, which way did you go?
Well, I actually came down to he and the starting tight end for the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, that was the guy that I was thinking about also. I did
492 yards, 3 touchdowns. The guy's he's out there doing what he's out there doing exactly what you and I thought he would do when we started talking about him during the draft and in the season. He was clearly the best tight end in the draft. Ben Johnson's probably kicking himself right now for not taking him as opposed to taking Love, which it's that's neither here nor there. Indianapolis right now just seems like the perfect fit for him. Kind of the same thing that we just alluded to with Igbuka. It's the perfect opportunity. Shane Steichen is a really good offensive coach. They got the perfect scheme. You got a quarterback that's going to look for you. You got a guy like Michael Pittman. You got what's his name?
Alec Pierce.
Alec Pierce. That those guys can stretch the field, which leaves the middle of the field wide open. You also got Jonathan Taylor that can catch the ball out of the backfield. So it's creating all these opportunities. He's on pace right now to get close to 1,000 yards and maybe 6-8 touchdowns. So for a rookie to come in and do that, even as highly touted as he was, we expected this, but a lot of guys failed to, exceed or live up to expectations. But right now I got Tyler Warren from rookie.
Got these tight ends, man. Unbelievable. Brock Bowers last year. Look what this Oronde Gadsden kid is doing for freaking for the Chargers. He is a mammoth beast. Oronde Gadsden, who used to play for the Miami Dolphins, his son playing tight end for the Chargers, coming out of nowhere, looking like Antonio Gates or something, man. Really unbelievable stuff. Gotta love football. Defensive Rookie of the Year. This was this one was tough, bro. I had to do some actual research on not only who are the odds favorite, and I went back to who I thought I was going to be the favorite, but again, nobody's really poking out to me. Did somebody poke out to you? Because I'm not seeing any poking.
Hey, easy there. This is a family show.
Yeah, right.
I went initially, I think at the beginning of the year, I picked your boy, Mikael Williams from the 49ers.
Right.
And right now,
and he's been playing better.
Exactly. And so, Abdul Carter would be like the homer choice, but he doesn't, I think he's only got a half a sack this year, and he's still kind of getting his feet wet. But I think the one guy that was kind of highly touted, but a lot of people didn't know which way he would go once he got to the league. So my pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year, it could have been Emenwari, but I went with Jahad Campbell out of Philadelphia. He's playing, playing in a really good, disciplined defensive scheme. I think he's got like 43, 47 tackles, something like that. He's not a guy that's really getting to the quarterback and putting up gaudy sack numbers, but he's probably one of their most reliable linebackers right now. And for you to be able to stand out on a team like Philadelphia that has studs everywhere, I think that says something. And for a young guy to come in, be able to adapt to that type of defense, which is the defensive scheme, I think you come in, you're making a name for yourself, and you're leading the league, or you're leading the team in tackles. He's on pace for probably 100 or so, 120 tackles as the season goes on. So right now, as we stand, I got Jahad Campbell as my Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Hey, no doubt. And they had been moving him around different linebacker positions, so he's been doing a good job of picking it up. Yeah, he really has. Jahad Campbell is up there. There's no doubt. And you mentioned Abdul Carter, and that's kind of where I landed, man, because I do get to watch the Giant games, so I do root for them, on the side a little bit, because I'm from New York, so Giants and Jets have a little tiny little spot in my heart, but it's all filled with 49ers, obviously, for the most part. But Abdul Carter is another one he is making plays, and he is disrupting the defense and the defensive line. He's just not getting those stats. So he's another one who's playing really good football and out there. And, they got a good D-line, the Giants. They really do. And I see him doing really good stuff. Will he win it? I don't know. I know that he's still up there as one of the odds favorites to possibly get it. And again, you're not going to see a whole lot of stats out of him. He doesn't have a whole bunch of tackles just yet or anything, but he is a disruptor, and that's what you need on the defensive line. So I think that as long as he continues to do that, he'll stand out, and more people will catch on and say, you know what, Abdul Carter's a really good player. But the other thing is, I think about the Giants and how good their defense really is, and maybe why. You tell me real quick before we jump to the next thing. Why can't they get home better with 4 and have more coverage on the back end? I feel like they should with these guys.
I think because a lot of teams, you got Thibodeau, you got Dexter Lawrence, you got Brian Burns, you got Bobby Okereke.
Lawrence has been a point.
Yeah, he actually has, and I think what quarterbacks, I think what's going through their mind is that it's one of those. If you watch, you watch a few of their games, a lot of these quarterbacks are getting rid of the ball quickly, and when they don't, the secondary is having a hard time. I think that the secondary for the Giants is struggling right now, and outside of Okereke, their linebacking core isn't really all that great. I think they lack in pass coverage to me. They're solid relatively against the run, but we both know that the Giants give up a lot of rushing yards. And I think it's just a product of the way that these offenses are going in. You got 4 or 5 guys between the guys I just mentioned that can get to the quarterback at any given time, and that's more than a lot of teams have. But you're exactly right, and I was talking about this with a friend of mine at work, and he kind of asked a similar question. I really don't know. You would think with that type of talent that they would be able to, that they would be second or third in the league in sacks, and they're just really having a hard time getting home. But I think a lot of that is the way the teams are scheming again. And I think they're, the secondary is not holding up the way that we're accustomed to. And I think they could use a little more shoring up in the linebacker. And I misspoke earlier. I think your boy is like third on the team in tackles, Jahad Campbell, not first. I think Zach Braun actually leads that team in tackles, him and Cooper DeJean. But still. But yeah, that's one of life's mysteries, man. They got all that talent, and they can't get to the quarterback.
It's very interesting, man. I really don't understand it. All right, that brings us to our last category before we get to big deal or no deal, where my man, Primetime 313, is going to ask me some questions, and I'll let you know if it's a big deal or it's not. And we'll get to that in a minute. But we have Coach of the Year. That is the last category to go through now. I don't know if you had another one, but that was pretty much all that I got. But if you got another one, we can go through it after. No, Coach of the Year. There's a few candidates out there. You got, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur.
You had to do that, didn't you? You had to throw him in there.
But I'm definitely putting Matt LaFleur's name in there. I think that he deserves it. But at the risk of going through everybody, I think me and you may land on the same thing. This has been a very Colts-centric award going on over here. So I think that Shane Steichen, he's rallied everybody around him. They're playing good on both sides of the ball. He's obviously the architect of that offense, and they are just doing it, man. Daniel Jones became this guy. This was not their intent going into the season.
Absolutely
whatsoever.
Not.
This is nowhere near what they thought was going to be going on. But they are freaking 7-1 right now. They're playing great ball, and you have to give credit to the head coach.
The only other choice to me that would stand out, well, actually here, let me play Homer for a second. So Mr. Dan Campbell for the Detroit Lions, you heard all off season, they lost offensive core. They lost Ben Johnson. They lost Aaron Glenn. They lost an entire coaching staff. You got young guys coming in at guard. Who's going to be that second or third wide receiver? There was so many question marks coming into the Detroit Lions season. And then it culminated to that stinker that they led the season off with against the Packers, and all the talk was amplified. Everybody was like, this is the year that the Lions are going to suck, blah, blah, blah. And here they are sitting at 5-2. With an easy win coming up this week against the Vikings, so that'll put them at 6-2. And considering whatever happens with the Packers at this point, it doesn't even matter because I think the Lions will probably end up winning 13 games. Dan Campbell will probably get a couple of votes simply shut a lot of people up that thought that the Lions wouldn't be. But having said all that, there's really only 2 candidates in my opinion. You mentioned one in Shane Steichen, and the other one has to be Mike Vrabel, don't you think? If there's another side-by-side candidate, it's like we said earlier, Patriots 6-2, sitting atop the division, and you kind of almost wonder how they're doing it. Drake May's playing, but like you say, they're throwing in who's this guy, who's that guy. Their defense is a bunch of no-name guys, and it's like, you know what? But we did say before the season, we were doing our preseason shows and stuff, they had the most cap space, which I think they still do. They spent very wisely. They drafted decently. You know, Travion Henderson, I think, will be that guy pretty soon. And Drake May, we said he was going to take a step up, and he had to, and he's done it. Everything that we thought that the Patriots were going to do has come to fruition. So it's between right now, it's between Steichen and Vrabel. If I had gun to my head right now, I would probably stick to the theme of the show and go Shane Steichen.
Yeah, look, the trade deadline is November 4th. And
next week, next Tuesday.
Yeah, the Patriots should be buyers right now. They should be looking probably for a defensive end, in my opinion, and maybe looking for another playmaker on offense, a wide receiver, or maybe even another tight end to go along with Hunter Henry. But they should be buying because everybody buys into what Mike Vrabel is talking about. That guy is a seriously amazing coach, so I have no issue with your answer whatsoever. I mean, that's a perfect answer. So that's good stuff right there. Yeah, that's the mid-season awards, man. We wanted to break it down a little bit, go through it, have some fun, and, find out what you guys think a little bit later on when you listen back to it. So we will appreciate that. And, keep the show moving on, grooving on, baby. It's Tuesday night. Not much happening. I know the World Series is on. I don't think that many people are watching that anymore. But whatever. Let them have a good time.
Well, you do have the Frozen Frenzy right now.
All 32
that's crazy. I was actually, before the show, I was actually checking out Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, and it's just like, I check in on hockey every now and then. I kind of get into it more so as the playoff, because there's nothing like playoff hockey.
Yeah, it's cool.
But yeah, they after that 18 marathon last, Shohei Ohtani, the guy's an alien. Those alien clips that you put up on YouTube sometimes, he's out there amongst it. That guy went to bat 9 times last night and got walked 4 times, 4 extra base hits, including 2 home runs. And he's going on the mound tonight where he's 2-0 and got a 2.25 ERA during the playoffs. That guy is absolutely unreal. I don't know.
Watch the greatest baseball player of all time. That's the bottom line. He is. He can do everything. And when it comes to the biggest moments, he's there and he's doing it. Unreal. Yeah, give Freddie Freeman a lot of credit with that home run after 6.5 hours.
He's the only player all time. There's a bar question. Who's the only player all time to have 2 walk-off home runs in a World Series?
Yeah, Freddie Freeman now. He's the guy.
Atlanta's like, what did we do? Why did we ever let that guy go? But,
no kidding. Unbelievable. Well,
there's your baseball talk for the week.
Yeah, I know. All right, how about that? My Knicks are playing the Bucks tonight. I'll check that out. I'll be a little up.
Hey, Jalen Brunson, over under 34.5 total points and assists. What do you got? Combined points and assists.
I got the under on that one. I don't think the Greek Freak is going to let him inside, so he's going to have to do a lot of jump shooting. I'm going under on that 34.5.
You got to realize too that the Bucks play with the 10th fastest pace in the league, so there's going to be a lot of possessions and a lot of opportunities. But I think I'm with you on that. If I were to bet that, I'd go the under. Even though I like Jalen Brunson as a player, even though they robbed my Detroit Pistons last year in the playoffs, we won't get into that. But I'd probably take the under. He'll probably end up with 23 points and 6 assists or something like that.
No, we shall see. But early in the NBA season, we got a long ways to go. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, it is time. Let's do it, baby. Big deal or no deal.
Big Deal or No Deal, sponsored by nobody, because we don't have sponsors on this show. This Big Deal or No Deal, in case you're not familiar, this is the segment of the show where I present several scenarios to the prophet, and he tells you and I if it is a big deal or no deal. So starting right off the bat, we're going to go with probably something that you saw coming. So you got Lamar Jackson coming back this Thursday against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
If you look at the rest of the Ravens schedule, even though they sit at 2-5 right now, they play everybody at the right time. They still have several division games left. They have some teams in there that you think with Lamar Jackson that they should be able to beat. So sitting at 2-5 right now, is it a big deal or no deal? First of all, that he's back and that they're not going to tank the season. But do you give them any chance at all of putting together a run to where they could still end up winning the AFC North?
100%, no doubt about it, because we saw the Bengals lose to the freaking Jets over the weekend. The Cleveland Browns got clobbered by the Patriots, and Pittsburgh let up 35 points to Green Bay. nobody is running away with that division, even though Pittsburgh is 4-3 right now and they're 2-5. Baltimore, there's a long season to go. They got to play each other. Looking at the Ravens' schedule a little bit,
they play Pittsburgh last game of the season. That game could be for the division.
That's a big
I think
one.
it will.
Play, of course, the Bengals and Browns. They got the Vikings, Jets, and Patriots will be a tough game, sure. But yeah, I can see them turning it around. I mean, Lamar Jackson, if he gets hot, then I believe the team will get hot. I think that will kind of revolve around him. So I'm thinking that if Lamar Jackson can get back to himself, that they can actually turn this thing around and win this division with 9 games.
So what you're telling me is that I shouldn't change my Super Bowl prediction for the Ravens just yet.
No,
that's what I heard. I heard you say it.
Hang on. They're gonna contend. They're gonna be in there.
You know what?
They'll be in the tournament. Because I don't honestly, bro. I don't see Pittsburgh winning 9 or 10 games this year. Their defense is horrible. It's not going to get fixed anytime soon, and you can't really rely on that offense to give you 25, 30 points a game necessarily.
That's sad. And just for a side note, I did pick the Cincinnati Bengals defense last week in our fantasy draft. Yeah, I'll never do that again.
Yeah,
I'll
that
never
didn't
do
work
that.
out well for you. Yeah,
So,
went like in the negative points on that.
oh my God. Anyway, moving on.
Oh, and speaking of fantasy, real quick, guess who overtook first place, baby?
Yeah,
First place,
congratulations. Yeah, I got my ass kicked. I lost by like 50 points. He had my 3 guys that had like 30 plus points. I'm like, I got to taste my own medicine this week. But yeah, and then you and I play this week, don't we?
We're back around to this week already?
I think you and I, I think there's going to be some trash talking going on.
Showdown, baby. Okay.
I think there's some trash talking going on, but yeah, good. Congratulations on that. Hey, for shits and giggles, dude, I think I'm going to restart Zay Flowers this week because Lamar's back. I think I've given up on Cortland Sutton. I'm done.
Oh.
I'm done. Yeah, your boy Franklin is getting all his targets. His targets.
I know.
Evan Ingram is like non-existent. I don't both. And when he caught the touchdown pass this past weekend, the one that they called back because there was a hold or a legal procedure, something like that, offensive pass interference. It was. He said his 82 set a pick, and I knew right then and there that I didn't have a chance. But I've tried to sit with Sutton this entire season. He's given me not what I expected, so I think I'm either going to put him on a trading block or just flat out drop him, man.
Maybe you can see what you can get for him if you can. Some people might see that name and be like, Cortland Sutton. Yeah, he's their number 1 over there. Go for it. I mean, he's not getting in the end zone, bro. I know it's a problem.
I was almost going to sit him for Tyquan Thornton for the freaking Chiefs this weekend.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
He's actually on my roster. I picked him up
since Rashee Rice came back, he kind of like disappeared. Rashee Rice, man, what a difference maker.
That's your boy.
That's my guy. All right, what's next?
Number 2. This is something we talked about earlier with the New York Jets. So Breece Hall is on pace for 1,000 yards this season. This is a contract year for him.
Yeah.
So if he hits the free agent market, I'm going to ask, and this is probably an obvious yes, is this a big deal or no deal that the Jets probably won't sign him and that he'll end up in free agency? And if he does end up in free agency, who do you see maybe kind of being right there to scoop him up?
Yeah, it's no deal if the Jets don't sign him. They have way too many problems to worry about running back and paying that guy an awful lot of money. So no deal to me. He can go to, certainly several places that you try to think off the top of your head. Where he may go teams that are. Where's that?
What about Houston?
Houston would work. It depends on what Joe Mixon's status is, obviously, but I don't know. It's tough, but oh my God, I lost track. Who are we talking about?
Breece Hall.
Oh yeah, Breece Hall. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's tough to see where he may actually go. I can't think of like a team right now, but what is he going to get paid and what he's going to demand? That may be tough because he's having a pretty good year this year. So he's going to go out there and ask for a lot of money. And I don't know that he's necessarily going to get it because really this is kind of like the first year that he's starting to put it all together.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I say Houston because you can't depend on Chubb to stay healthy. Mixon isn't the what he was last year. And I think a lot of people believe, and there's a couple of Texans fans at my job that believe that they're just like a running back away, a consistent running back away from really, really contending. I'm like, you guys got offensive line problems, and you could use another playmaker on defense, if you can believe that, with Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson and Sting.
What about the Chiefs?
I was thinking about that. They've been doing it kind of by committee. That would be. I think if I'm Breece Hall, those are like the first phone calls I'm making. I was even thinking somewhere along the lines of maybe like the Bears, because how long is I mean, there's people that don't even remember DeAndre Swift still in the league.
I like that,
and he's producing. So a team like the Bears,
the Commanders, the Commanders would be all in on Breece Hall.
Yep. So his phone will be ringing once the off season comes and goes. So number 3. There's been talk. We talked a little bit earlier about defensive ends in the free agent market and teams that might need defensive end. There's been talk with Max Crosby. There's been talk of potentially Trey Hendrickson. But one guy that's kind of flying under the radar is a guy that's had like 23 sacks over the last couple of years. He's ended the last 2 seasons with major injuries. He's had a partially torn ACL, and he blew out his Achilles. But he's still young, and he could end up being productive on the right team, and that's Jalen Phillips for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
Is that a big deal or no deal that the Dolphins may be shopping him around? And again, this goes to a similar Breece Hall question. Who should be calling him who should be calling the Dolphins if indeed that is the case?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Dolphins, again, they need help in a whole bunch of different places, but this may be a guy that you want to keep. If not, if you're going to shop him around, you don't want to do it in the AFC East, so I'm going to eliminate teams like that. You probably want to stay away from the AFC to begin with, but you would think the Bengals would want to do it, right?
Well, here's the problem with that is that he's making 13 and a quarter this year. Yeah. This is the last year of his contract, so he's a free agent in March of 2026 when the free agency period begins. So it's kind of one of those, if we're going to make a move and get rid of him, we need to do it now so that we can get something for him instead of letting him walk, because I think there's still potential there. There was even people talking about maybe the Lions making that phone call and going to get him. And right now, I think he's out with an ankle injury or just coming back, one or the other. But I kind of agree, the AFC is probably not where you want to go. But if I'm the Dolphins, do you just let him walk and get nothing for him? Or do you at least try to trade him to somebody and maybe get a 4th round, 3rd round pick for him?
Go to one of those NFC. Look, we were talking about the Cowboys, how badly they need a defensive end. They need a pass rusher. Go ahead and go grab him. You know what? I don't know what it would cost. It's not going to be a 1st rounder, obviously.
No, absolutely not.
Not a chance in the world. So if they want to try to stay in it right now, the Dallas Cowboys, and it's looking kind of glim at 3-4-1, but it's still early enough in the season they can make something happen. That would be a team that I would think about, and I would think that Jared Jones would actually make that phone call.
I agree. And as always, we end big deal or no deal with a 2-parter. So this one is kind of near and dear to you because this involves a player that you were relatively high on. JJ McCarthy returns this week against the Detroit Lions. Is that a big deal or no deal? And we're going to end it with this. The Atlanta Falcons got destroyed by the Miami Dolphins. And we were kind of uptrending the Falcons over the last couple weeks. Are either of those big deal or no deal? And if so, which one's more of a big deal than the other one? JJ McCarthy coming back and the Falcons just getting lambasted by the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I'll address Atlanta first. I'm real disappointed with the defense. That was a big problem, but I'm going to give them a pass because Kirk freaking Cousins was the quarterback.
Come on.
And that's not what anybody freaking wants. He is done. He needs to retire after this year. It is obvious it is over for him. He just can't do it anymore. It's a wrap. Done. Well, he's certainly not going to be a starter anymore.
Well, side note real quick before you go on. Do you think Atlanta messed up by bringing Kirk Cousins in because now people see how inept he was, and now that may tarnish the trade value or whatever that Atlanta could have potentially gotten from him, may be compromised now because he came in and played so poorly?
I don't know what Michael Penix learned from Kirk Cousins except for how to lose the 4 interceptions. So, You know, they could have done without Kirk Cousins and just draft Michael Penix and everything would have been all right, you know, with the coaching and everything. So I'll give Atlanta a pass on that one. They didn't have their guy in there. But as far as J.J. McCarthy coming back, yo, you better freaking be what they want you to be, because they are in a shithole right now. Carson Wentz, not that he's your savior, obviously, but he's out for the year. He's got a broken left shoulder or whatever the hell it is. You got Adrian Martinez or something like that, I think is their third stringer. I forgot what his name is up top. But it is, right? So J.J. McCarthy, it's all you, bro. I know that you're coming in a little banged up, but you've been off for a few weeks already. You've been out since week 2. You've had the lowest QBR through 2 weeks, your first 2 weeks of the NFL. You got to improve, man. When you got Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson out there, and other guys, and even Jordan Mason, who can run the ball. You got athletes around you. You got playmakers, but that offensive line needs to hold up. That's the thing that people aren't talking about in Minnesota. Their offensive line is bad news right now, and people are getting to the quarterback. And J.J. McCarthy is still like a rookie, and he's a little scared little kid. And I don't know how much he's going to be able to take it against the blitz and against those pass rushes we're going to see. But this is a very big deal to see if indeed did Minnesota make a really big mistake by getting rid of Sam Darnold and maybe even some other people like Daniel Jones.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that are saying that right now, because the 2 quarterbacks that you had on your roster last year, speaking of Minnesota, are flourishing right now.
Yeah.
So exactly. JJ McCarthy came in to me in a no-win situation. He, you know, we weren't always that high on Sam Darnold because of his playoff failure, but the guy won 14, 15 games last year. Daniel Jones was just there for a cup of coffee and one of those Minnesota white fish sandwiches and a hot dish. And you know, now he's 7-1 in it. So yeah, if you're Kevin O'Connell and that Minnesota organization, you're kind of wondering a little bit, did we make a mistake? And then he was coming off an injury. If nothing else, you should have kept one of those guys just as an insurance policy, because a lot of people saw this coming, and these guys are smarter than I'll ever be. But you had to see this coming. Okay, we had to ease him into. You give away both quarterbacks, and you just throw J.J. McCarthy coming off an injury, throw him into the mix. And I think it's a little bit too much for him right now, not from just a physical standpoint, but just a mental standpoint. And I think Kevin O'Connell may have got a little full of himself. You know, I'm a quarterback guru. I'm a whisperer. I'm
maybe
this, that, and the other. You know, I'm Kyle Shanahan Jr., and he thought that he'd be able to make it work. And to this point, I mean, from what we've seen so far with McCarthy, it has not worked.
Right. And look, it's only been 2 games, and it's been pretty bad 2 games. He's played one good quarter. That was the 4th quarter of the first game against the Bears of the season where they came back and won. But other than that, he has played poorly. So I want to give the kid time and see. They're not going to win the whole thing this year, so that's not going to happen. But we'll give the kid some time, and we'll see what will happen eventually in the future if he does turn out to be that quarterback. Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll see, my brother. But that is Big Deal or No Deal, presented by nobody, because we don't give a damn, baby. Damn. We do our own thing over here. So, all right. So what does that bring us to next in our show? That I'm surprised. I feel like we've talked for 5 minutes. We're going like an hour already. All right. After Big Deal, No Deal, Week 8 scores. Here we go. We had our Freaky Fantasy Football Draft. Let me tell you who we had really quick. We'll go down it. I had Daniel Jones, speaking of him, along with Michael Pittman, Chase Brown, Pitts, and the 49ers. You had Hurts, Judkins, Chase, Kittle, and Cincinnati. The final score was Jason, 86.8 to Mr. Primetime, 61.9. So I take that one down. But we both did have the same record, and we could have done better. We were both only 8-5. 6 teams were on a bye this week, so, you know, couldn't have made up for it in other areas, but 8-5. So we tie on that one. Moving on down to the Picks Challenge. You're 4-2, and I'm 3-2 in Freaky Fantasy Football Draft. So without further ado, let's do our Week 9 picks. And real quickly, the teams that are on a bye this week are the Cleveland Browns, the New York Jets, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, all on a bye this week. Are you ready to start our picks, my friend?
Let's do it. And I think nobody needs a bye right now more than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, man. They need to get some players back, offensive and defensive. No doubt about it. All right. Well, speaking of defense, this first game defenses, these are making like the 72 Dolphins and the 2000 Ravens roll over in their graves. Baltimore and Miami. Jesus Christ. Oh, Lord, excuse me. Baltimore versus Miami on Thursday Night Football. The game is in Miami, and I think right now Baltimore is 7.5-point favorites because Lamar Jackson is coming back.
I'm going to take the Ravens in that game. The over-under, this is a joke. This has to be a misprint. The over-under is 50.5 on this game.
I saw that, man.
That can't be that somebody's smoking something. That'll probably go down as they realize that Miami, what they did last week is from a scoring standpoint, it's not going to happen again. And I think the Ravens defense might be on the verge of finding their stride. So if it is a 50-point game, it'll probably be because the Ravens put up 40. But yeah, give me the Ravens that one without elaborating on it too long. I don't want to talk about that game.
Yeah. Let's see if the defense is getting better. We'll see. So far they've been getting eaten alive this year, but I think overall, when it comes down to it, Baltimore can score more points. So I will also go with the Ravens in that game. Next up, we got Chicago versus Cincinnati. Bengals, man, they just blew a shot at maybe getting in there in the AFC North Division. Blew a 14-point lead in fourth quarter to the Jets of all teams who got that first win. So we got Chicago in Cincinnati, both coming off losses. Who do you like, the Bears or the Bengals?
You know what? I went with them last week, and I probably should have known better, but I'm going to ride them again this week. Give me the Bears in that one. It's like 2.5 over under 51.5. Give me the Bears of this one. I just can't see Cincinnati. After that loss to the Jets, I think that was probably like rock bottom for them. Joe Flacco, they can't keep up this scoring pace. Their defense is bad as it might be worse than it was last year.
Yeah, it's bad.
Just give me the Bears. I'm gonna keep rolling with the Bears right now for a minute. I believe that they're just right now they're just a better defensively. So this will probably be like a 23-20 type of game. I definitely wouldn't take the over in this one. But give me the Bears to the road dog or the road favorite.
I'm kind of surprised to hear you say that because I think points will be scored. Cincinnati just put up 38 points over the weekend. Chicago not that much against Baltimore, different type of game. I know that they were on the road, and this one they are on the road again in Cincinnati. So outdoor game. How's Caleb Williams going to play? Is he going to bounce back? No, I like Cincinnati. I think that between T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Chase Brown, that's enough offense, and Joe Flacco is making it work. So I think that the Bengals will actually take that game. Give me Cincinnati. As we move on to Minnesota versus Detroit, right up your alley, my friend. It's the return of the McCarthy, and we just talked about him. So how well will he play? Not well enough to beat Detroit. That's probably going to be my first lock. Actually, yeah, that'll be my first lock. The Lions should win this game easily. They should put up points and 28, 32, 35 sort of points, man. I like your Lions in this game, no doubt. I'm going to lock them up.
Yeah, I'm going to lock that one up too. It's the line I think right now is like 8.5 over under 48.5. I could see the over, like a 30, 33, 20 type game. I'd probably take the over in that one, but I definitely the 8.5. It's a bit much, but considering the fact that JJ McCarthy's just coming back off an injury, Minnesota right now is basically fighting for their lives. The one thing they do have going for them is that Justin Jefferson usually plays against the Lions very well. So there might be some little prop bet action for you there if you're doing a Justin Jefferson type thing.
There you go.
But yeah, straight up, just give me the Lions all day in that one.
All right, both going with Detroit, both locking it up. As we move on to Carolina versus Green Bay, I would sit Bryce Young another game. Don't let him come back for this game. Let Andy Dalton get his ass kicked. The Packers are going to beat the hell out of them, man. I mean, it's in Green Bay. I don't care if it was on the moon. It doesn't make a difference. Packers are going to win this one, and that'll be my second lock.
So, yeah, and that's a 12.5 point spread right there.
Yeah,
that's kind of they don't have any
I'd probably
confidence
lay
at
it
all
also.
in the Panthers. What's that?
I would lay it. Carolina. To me, this is like literally a 31-6 kind of game.
Yeah. Well, if you're feeling froggy, there's great value on the money line for Carolina to win. It's plus 590.
Oh God.
That's some hellified value. Talk about an upset. So If you're picking them straight up to win the game, that 590 plus 590. I mean that can put some some chips in your bag if you're looking to do that. But yeah,
They'd have to make it even juicier.
Yeah, give me the Packers in that one. That's going to be, like you said, that's a 30-10, 36 type game. Like you said, that's going to get ugly.
Yeah,
very
that's
ugly.
Gonna get ugly.
Packers are rolling right now. I'm going to lock that one too. Yeah.
I'm going to lock that one too. All right. So we are in lockstep here, my friend. Now we got Denver versus Houston. Again, no Patrick Surtain. Houston's offense coming alive a little bit, but that was against a real depleted San Fran 49ers defense. So if Denver can put up the points against this defense, then I got to say, watch out. If they can do this on the road, Denver, then they're really one of those best teams in the NFL type of thing. Can they do it? I think they match up well. It's going to be probably a low-scoring game, Prime. What do you think about this one?
Well, I believe the over-under on that one is like 39 and a half, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Here's the kicker, is that Houston's actually favored in that game by 1.5.
Now, that I'm surprised.
That's a very much so a surprise, but I'm going to take Denver to win that game. I think Denver's just on a roll right now. I think what we saw with Houston, they've probably been one of the more inconsistent teams in the league, one of the more disappointing teams in the league. Give me the Broncos. I'm going to roll with the Broncos, man, until the wheels fall off. And if you're feeling froggy, I would take the Broncos in that 1.5 all day.
Yeah, I mean, look, I see Houston getting a little bit better, but they're not there yet. Denver, to me, is too solid of a team. They got the offense, they got defense. I know that Surtain is not there, but I'm going to take Denver on the road to win that game. Yes, it should be a low-scoring game, but Denver should be able to put up a few points on this defense, and I don't see Houston doing a whole lot unless they can get that running game going with Marks and Chubb. That's a different story, but we'll see. Let's move on to the next game. We got Atlanta. Will the real Falcons please stand up? Jeez, I mean, no wonder why the Falcons went with Penix over Cousins. Obviously, we saw what happened, but they got to go to New England, man, and New England has been playing some really good ball. What do you think?
I'll keep this one short and sweet. I think the Patriots, right? I believe right now. The Patriots are making me a believer. And
I believe I could fly.
Exactly. So, and like you say, Atlanta's defense, the over-under 45.5, I believe it's a 5.5 point spread. But straight up, I'm taking the Patriots. If not for nothing else, it's a home game for the Patriots. The Atlanta Falcons, you don't really know what the hell you're going to get from them week after week. For 2 weeks, they look good.
No.
For 2 weeks, they look really bad. So, like you say, will the real Atlanta Falcons please stand up? But I don't think it's going to be this week against the Patriots. Give me the Fighting Vrabels.
Yeah, no doubt. Yo, they go to 7-2, the Patriots, and Drake May has himself another day. No doubt. I'm with New England on that one. Next up is we got the Power 32 Bowl over here. The 49ers at the Giants, man. How about that?
I like that.
Power 32 Bowl in the house. We got Prime's Giants and my 49ers, who are just so banged up. And now the Giants are really banged up too. This is, you know what, man? This is going to be a sloppy game, Prime. I'm not even sure right now who's going to win. I'm thinking about it.
Right.
Maybe the Giants defense can do something, but I'm wondering where the offense is going to come from the Giants. Can Christian McCaffrey take the game over somehow? Can Salah's defense do enough on the road? This is going to be one of them tricky games where it's probably going to come down to a field goal, and I think your Giants might take it something like 16-13. I think it's going to be an ugly game. Yeah.
I don't know. I think Jackson Dart is going to be very emotional in this game. As you saw the emotion on his face with the Scatterboy injury. I think this is a game where this would be a lovely game for the Giants to win. This would be kind of like a statement game, kind of like a few weeks ago when we thought that Philadelphia Eagles game was a statement game, and they bet after that. But I'm going to kind of go with you. I think I'm going to just sentimentally this week. I think the emotions are going to run high for the Giants, even though it is on the road. Oh, no, it's actually at MetLife. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's at MetLife.
San Francisco giving up 2.5. Give me the Giants, and not only give me the Giants straight up, I'll probably take the Giants to cover. I'm not going to lock this one, but like I say, this is strictly a sentimental pick.
Yeah, for me, it's an objective pick. I just think that the Giants will have more juice at home and really want to play football. And the 49ers right now, man, they just don't have the pieces. So we'll leave it at that. Next game, interesting. Indy looking to extend that best record in the AFC, going against Pittsburgh. Both teams going in opposite directions in this one, Prime. So, I mean, really, is it that tough of a game to pick?
No. The Colts go to 8-1. Right now it's kind of like what we talked about with Atlanta. Will the real Pittsburgh Steelers please stand up? You look good for
No
1
doubt.
week, bad for the next week. Aaron Rodgers out there throwing temper tantrums and shit on the field last week. That's the Aaron Rodgers that I know and love.
Yeah.
Just
I know,
throwing
right.
his receivers under the bus, telling people, "Oh, you should have ran that with this, that, and the other." I actually read his lips on a play. He threw the ball to, I forgot who it was. It might have been, no, it wasn't Metcalf. I mean, anyway, long story short, it was Freiermuth. And Freiermuth dropped the ball or did something wrong. And Aaron Rodgers' lips, you could read him. He says, "What the F?" cock at Esser, for lack of a better.
Geez.
Yeah. And it's just like classic melting down already. And they're only 8 games into the season. So, but yeah, give me the Colts -3. Give me that one. You know what? And I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to lock that one.
Okay.
I'm going to lock that game.
That's
That's how much I believe in the Colts right now.
That's
Plus, I
your
need
third
Tyler
lock,
Warren to have a big game.
I'm
I'm
sure
1-3
he
in
will.
my last 4.
Hey, man, I might even start Josh Downs, who sits on my bench in fantasy, because I think that Indy is going to have a big game on offense, no doubt. So I'm going with the Colts as well to keep it going. Next up, we got the Chargers and the Titans. I got to tell you, man, the Tennessee is so bad. Cam Ward's like the first quarterback who probably wishes he wasn't the first overall pick. I mean, Cam Ward literally wishes he was not the first overall pick, first quarterback in history to want that. I got the Chargers all day. They're playing better football. Justin Herbert is playing near an MVP type level. We didn't mention his name, but they're getting running. They can throw the ball. Their defense is getting healthier, obviously, with the return of the Khalil Mack. So give me the Chargers.
Yeah, there's really not a lot to say about this one. The one thing I will say that surprised me a little bit is that it's weird because the spread is high, but the over-under is low. So the spread is 9.5, and I think the over-under is like 43.5 on this game. So that's kind of a weird, it's kind of like a tricky situation. I'd take the Chargers straight up. I don't know if I would take the Chargers minus the points, but I would definitely take the Chargers straight up. And if you're looking for value, that's plus 400 for Tennessee if you go the money line and Tennessee wins. And there's not a lot of value in that, and not a lot of value in that 9.5 either. Tennessee, there's only minus 105. So the numbers, the whole spread there. If you look at the money line and the over under and the actual spread, there's some trickiness going on there. They're trying to purposely confuse you because minus 9.5, but it's only plus 9.5, but it's only minus 105 as far as a dollar value. That kind of worries me.
Yeah, Tennessee straight up garbage, man. That's all I got to say.
Hot garbage.
It's just hot garbage. That's all. All right, we got New Orleans and we got the LA Rams. So it's a new era. Could the Saints shock the world?
Oh, there he goes. There he
goes.
There he goes. He had you had like 9 of them last week. That's funny.
I only dropped one this week, but yeah, Tyler Shock, new quarterback coming in for Spencer Rattler, who honestly wasn't playing terrible football.
No, he really wasn't.
He really honestly wasn't, but I guess they do need a kick in the ass, maybe something to jumpstart this offense. Because the thing is, while he was playing decent football, they were not scoring points. So maybe now Tyler Shock can come in there and get Olave and Rashid Shaheed down the field and get Kamara going at the running back position. Do I think that's going to happen? No, I really don't. So, especially not against the Rams in that defense. So give me the Rams all day, and that'll be my final lock.
That's funny. And then the weird thing about that is that's a 14.5 point spread, man.
Damn.
So Vegas has absolutely no faith in the Saints at all. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we tell everybody, make sure you keep an eye on these spreads because the spreads that we announced initially on Tuesday could change and probably will change depending on the site that you go to and depending on the day of the week. So, right now we are doing the spreads. We won't mention the site because we're not getting paid. But I do one site. I'm not sure who Profit looks at, but a lot of these sites different spreads, but a lot of this stuff changes as the week goes on, so just make sure you keep that in mind. But yeah, having said all that, give me the Rams, and I'll just
Going with the
it's my
Rams.
Super Bowl pick, so I have to go with the Rams right now.
And they're looking like they could be one of those teams who are contending for the Super Bowl. No doubt about it, man. Matthew Stafford did his thing last week without Puka Nacua. They look just fine. Not last week.
Man, looking good.
Yep, no doubt. All right, Jacksonville and the Las
Jesus,
Vegas
do
Raiders.
we have to?
The NFL just needs to get rid of a couple of teams. The NFL needs to get rid of 2 teams, and you might as well just get rid of these 2 teams. Just do it on Sunday. So you know what, forget it, and have a draft, and let them go to other teams around the NFL. It's a joke, man. I don't know. Who wins? I don't care. It's probably going to be Jacksonville because they're a better team. Vegas has been really, really bad this year. But Jacksonville on the road, going across the country, I mean, does that play a factor into it, Prime? I don't know. Talk me into this one. What happened?
I can't. I wish I could. This game is like this one is one of those games that you just have like as background noise while you're like sweeping the floor,
really.
Cleaning your bathroom or something like that.
Oh yeah, they're playing. Brock Bowers coming back this weekend, though. I think.
Yeah. You know, I guess that's a little something, but I'm not high on Jacksonville, but I don't think Jacksonville is as bad as the Raiders. I kind of expect a little bit more. You know, where's Ashton Genty been?
Yeah,
I mean, is that something that anybody wants to talk about right now? Because everybody was, that's your off of the year. It's like, oh, damn, he still does play for the Raiders. He's kind of got lost in the shuffle there. So, but yeah, for all intents and purposes, man, give me Trevor Lawrence and the flowing hair and the -3. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars, as a lot of people say, the Jaguars.
Normally I would go with the home team in a game like this, but I just think Jacksonville is better, and if they're thinking they have a shot in this division and actually want to contend for maybe even a wild card for that matter would be more realistic. They're going to have to win games like this against bad teams. So let's see if Liam Cohen can put on his real coaching hat and do his shit this week. All right, the game of the week. We have the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills, a possible AFC Championship game preview. I love it. And, man, look, if the Chiefs have a dynasty and they keep doing this for another 5 years, I have no problem with it. I respect greatness. They look like they're headed right back to the Super Bowl right now with the way that they're playing. But they got to play a Buffalo Bills team who is tough as hell, who have their number in the regular season, not the postseason. And they're playing at home in Buffalo. Real tough game to pick over here. What do you got?
I'm going to go with the Bills in this. I think this is a game that the Bills need. The Bills' offense hasn't been consistent. It's like they're winning games, but they're not playing the way that – actually, they've lost, 2 out of their last 3. So they're not playing what we're used to when we think about the Buffalo Bills. They did
just kill Carolina.
They did, but it's Carolina. It was 40-0 or something like that. So it was Carolina. So they start off 4-0. They lost 2 in a row. Now they're back in the win column. They're 5-2, sitting the game behind the Patriots in that division. They need this game. I think the Chiefs need this game too to keep up Broncos. But I think right now the way that the Bills offense is inconsistently, they need this game more to keep up with the Patriots than the Chiefs need this to keep up with the Broncos, if that makes any sense at all. And the the Bills are getting 1.5 on this one. So, but give me the Bills. Josh Allen, I need some fantasy play. I need an explosion this week. I need him to come through for me.
So Kansas City's favored in this game on the road?
Over under 52.5. Kansas City favored 1.5.
Okay, I agree with the bookmakers on this one then, because I like Kansas City. Because you look at both offenses, and maybe the Bills are a little bit better on offense, maybe a little bit, because right now Kansas City is really firing on all cylinders. Yep. It took them a little bit of time against Washington last night, but once toward the end of the second quarter happened, they started getting their offense going and flowing. And then the defense, clearly the Chiefs have a better defense. And I think that they will be able to, I don't want to say shut down James Cook, but he ain't going to be running for no 213 yards or whatever it was. That ain't going to happen. I promise you that.
Right.
So with Kansas City being as tough-minded as they are, and saying to themselves, you know, guys, we're not exactly the cream of the crop like we were the past 5 years, and everybody looking at us like gods. We got to go out and keep proving it. I like Kansas City Chiefs to win this game on the road. So give me KC. I'll disagree with you on that one.
All right.
But should be a really good game. Looking forward to it. So as we get to Sunday Night Football, we have the city of Washington versus the state of Washington. And Jaden Daniels is coming back for this game. That's a good thing for Washington Commanders because Marcus Mariota is not the deal. I can't believe he's still in the league for that matter.
Crazy.
Him and Jameis Winston both, who were 1 and 2 back in 1976 or whatever it was. Long time ago.
Right.
But, yeah, so this game could be an interesting one with Jaden Daniels coming back. Seattle's been playing better football overall. Washington's been like, where exactly are we? Is our defense good? Where's our running game at? Thank God we got McLaurin back. That's a big thing. But this is a really interesting matchup, Prime. What are you thinking here?
Well, I actually like Seattle in this one. Even though it's traveling cross country. Is that the late? That's Sunday night, so that's a late game.
That's Sunday night.
That'll help them out a little bit. They're given 3.5 in this one. So Washington's the home dog here. The way that Seattle's playing, I didn't pick them to win the West. I didn't pick them to really be the team that they currently are right now. But with JSN and the redheaded stepchild that is Sam Darnold, they're actually playing. I think they're playing out of their above what everybody thought that they were.
I agree.
And your boy Mike McDonald. I'm sorry. We talked about Coach of the Year earlier. You know, there's a guy that could probably throw his name in the hat with some legitimacy as well. So give me
fair.
Seattle in that game. I like the Fighting Seahawks in that one.
Yeah, this
like
is
speak,
tough.
baby.
This is a tough one because Seattle, I agree, is the better team, and Washington, I didn't have going to the playoffs this year. I would expect them to lose this game, but I think Jaden Daniels coming back is going to make a real difference and is going to kind of neutralize that Seattle Seahawks defense a bit because of his running ability. So the fact that Jaden Daniels poses that threat to run, you got McLaurin back in there now with Deebo Samuel healthy, Zach Ertz. I think they got the weapons to put up some points. Now, it's not going to be a ton because Seattle does have a really good defense, and they're one of my fantasy defenses, and I love having them in there. But Washington at home Sunday night, I'm just going to give them the edge a little bit. I think they win this one by a real late field goal. So I'm going to go with Washington, despite me agreeing with you and thinking that Seattle is the better team. Seattle is the better team, but, matchups are everything. So we'll see what Washington can do. And I like the way that they played defense last night for the most part, up until Mahomes really caught fire. And, Travis Kelce did his thing and Rashee Rice did his thing and yada, yada. But on Monday night, we got kind of a stinker, man. We got Arizona and Dallas. And this is the, you know what they should call this game? The reschedule bowl and just get a whole new freaking game in there.
They should flex this one. You saying they should flex this one out of Monday night?
Flex it out. Just flex it out of the whole schedule. We didn't even need it. Let them play 16 games each. It's fine with me. Arizona, Dallas. The game's in Dallas. What? I don't know. Kyler Murray coming back. Kyler Murray is coming back this week, I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
That should help Arizona.
I had such mediocre to high hopes for Arizona at the beginning of the season. I actually went out on a limb. You know what? They're just, I don't know if that franchise, if that team, organization, whatever you want to call it, will ever get it together. You've had a decent quarterback for, what's this Kyler Murray, 10th year, 9th year, something like that?
Yeah, something, I think he's been around since 2018.
So 7-8 years. And this experiment has failed on every level. So anytime now that I see the Cardinals on a docket, on a schedule, on a betting slip, I immediately go to the other team. Doesn't matter who they're playing. If they were playing the Carolina Panthers this week, I would probably pick the Carolina Panthers to beat them. Their season to me is already a wash. I don't think they're going to ever find their way. We talked about it at the beginning of the season. Give me Dallas. Dallas is -3 actually in this one. But give me Dallas straight up. And I don't know. You're right. This is a game that they probably should have flexed to like Monday night at like 2 a.m.
You're right.
Nobody gives a shit about this game, man.
Nobody cares, right? Arizona started off nice there, now 2-5. They'll be 2-6 after this Monday night contest against Dallas. Just too much firepower for the Cowboys, and I know that we didn't really necessarily get to see it against Denver, but against the Cardinals, yeah, going to be a different story, no doubt. So that is right there. Our picks for week 9.
Here we go.
9 in the house. All right, we got one more thing to do, Prime, before we call it a night. You ready to get into our freaky fantasy football draft?
Let's do it.
All
Let's
right,
do
here
it.
we go. All right.
I need to redeem myself.
I did win last week. This means I'm going to go first in our little action over here. So let's see who I like. Who do I want to pick first? I want to go with, just because I'm afraid you're going to take him, I'm going to go Stafford against the Rams. So give me my quarterback.
Oh, wow. So I'm going to go.
We're going to take him?
No, actually not this week, no.
All right.
I'm going to go, my quarterback this week, I was kind of I was leaning towards one guy. I was going to go, but I'm going to go, I don't think I picked him yet. I'm going to go Indiana Jones.
Oh, okay, yeah, I had him last week.
Yeah, I'm going to go Indiana Jones. And then my next pick, I'm going to pick my tight end. I'm going to pick Tucker Kraft. He's crafty.
Nice. Yeah, he's crafty.
He's actually emerging as to one of the top tight ends.
Oh my God! I just wrote crafty down because you said that. You said
remember that old Beastie Boys song? She's crafty.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Tucker Kraft is coming on. Oh man, he's turning one of the top 5-8 tight ends in the league.
He's certainly one of the best ones out there, man. He is making play after play after play, and it was tight ends day, in the NFL, and he definitely, been doing his thing, no doubt about it. All right, you got your 2 picks so far. I get 2 picks now. I pick Stafford, and I'm going to go with my second pick. I could probably wait on this because I don't think you're going to take him, but I'm all right doing it. I like the matchup again. We just talked about Dallas and Arizona. Give me Javonte Williams.
You're taking my fantasy guy.
Yeah,
he's actually my starting running back in my fantasy league. I need him to come to life for me too. So.
Yeah, partially rooting for you in fantasy then, I guess, this weekend. I want him to do good, but maybe not that good. All right. And then, well, you already took that guy. I know that, so I can wait on him. I will go with my second pick of this round. Let's go with... You know what? I think what you said before rang a little bell with me.
What was that?
About the tight ends. Tyler Warren, man, he is just so damn good.
I'm telling you.
Pittsburgh's defense is so damn bad.
This is a Tyler Warren game right here. 10 catches, 110 yards, 7 touchdowns. I can see it. I need it.
Right.
I need it.
Tyler Warren is I'm picking a lot of your guys right now, but yeah, all right. So I got Stafford, Javonte Williams, and Tyler Warren so far. Excuse me. You have Daniel Jones and Tucker Crafty. You get 2 more picks. You got your running back, wide receiver, and defense to go.
So my wide receiver, I would actually take Justin Jefferson, but I'm worried about JJ McCarthy right now. So I'm going to go on the other side of the field. I'm going to take Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Lions this week against the Vikings.
Did you take him yet?
I don't think so. I have not. I don't think I've taken.
Hold on.
I haven't. I don't think I've taken the Sun God yet.
I love that. Let me make positively
sure. His brother Equimenius, and then he's got another brother named Osiris. Yeah. They were really big on mythology.
Yeah, they obviously worship the Egyptians. You did. You took him in the first week. I'm on Rob.
Did I? All right. Well, give me. Okay. Yeah. Well, in that case, then give me Justin Jefferson. Then.
Justin Jefferson. All right. And you get a second one. You still got your running back and defense.
So I'm going to go with my defense here. I'm going to take the Packers defense against the Panthers.
Yeah, smart move, man. Smart move.
I'm going to take the Packers against the...
All right. We talked about the matchup, and Yeah, Washington's defense played pretty good for a little while, but then they came back to reality, and I think that Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to light them up, man.
There you
So
go.
that Sunday
It
night
worked for
football
me.
game, JSN, baby. There we go. And
It's
my
Ohio
last
State
pick
receivers, man, except Marvin Harrison, the one who's supposed to be the best of the best.
is supposed to be. I don't know, but I'm surprised by that. They had really, really high hopes for him, but hasn't come around yet.
They
It's
should
weird.
trade
I
him.
don't know. If they can, you ain't gonna get what you thought you were gonna get. That's for
No,
sure.
not now.
All right, so I got to pick a defense here. Let's see who we got this weekend. You know what? I don't want to overthink it too much. They're playing New Orleans. I'm going to take the Rams defense.
There you go. Sometimes it's just like, okay, who's playing the worst? Who's playing the Jets this week?
Let's just
Okay,
take
let's
them.
let's just take.
I mean, this is Tyler Shock's got to deal with this front four from the Rams in his first start.
Good
That's
luck.
going to be rough, man. There could be around 6, 7, 8 sacks in this game.
Right, and I need Kyron Williams to have like 5 touchdowns and 614 yards.
Yeah.
I'm 1-3 in my last 4, man. That's not. I start off 4-0, and I'm not looking good at this point. We're sinking. I think I need to go to the head of the organization. We might have to make some moves, get some NIL money or
There
something.
you go.
So my last
Always
pick.
get that waiver wire, man. Don't forget that waiver wire will help you.
Yeah, so my last pick is my running back. So I'm flipping this imaginary coin in my head, and I'm going to take your guy. I haven't picked him yet, and they're playing against my Giants, but I think CMC is going to have a nice day against the New York Giants, who give up a lot of yards on the ground.
You're probably right, man. That's a good point. You were talking about that earlier in the show, and I was mentioning Abdul Carter. You were talking about Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, who's not having a good year, Brian Burns, better pass rushers, even though they're not getting to the quarterback. Very strange. We're not going to reiterate the whole thing. We talked about it. We're an hour and a half into the show right now. We just did our Freaky Fantasy Football Draft, in which I took Matthew Stafford, Javonte Williams, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tyler Warren, and the Los Angeles Rams defense. And Prime has got Daniel Jones, CMC, Justin Jefferson, Tucker Crafty, and the Packers defense right there. So I think we made some really nice picks, man. This will be close again. We've been putting up some. If you think about it, with the 5 players that we pick every week, and we're getting in like the 80s, I got 100 points last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. If we had that in our fantasy football team, like how good that would be.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable. Like we
Absolutely.
It right now.
Absolutely.
Unreal. But yeah, that's the thing. That's why I write down every time that we do this. When we're done, I go to another Microsoft page that I opened up, and I just put down every player that we picked so far, because I'm not going to remember all these guys. It's not possible. I when you said Amon-Ra, it clicked in my head. I'm like, all right, either I picked him or he picked him. Somebody picked him, so it was a good thing. I went back and I looked, and now you got Justin Jefferson. I'm probably going to regret it, because Jefferson's going to have 180 yards, 3 touchdowns.
He's had some of his best games against the Lions. So
he has. You're right. That's true.
We'll see. I need him to have a good game, but not win.
Right. That's what you need right there. Your Lions, man. They'll still be one of the teams that we're talking about at the end. We're talking about the Rams, Seattle, Tampa, Green Bay, Lions, Philadelphia, obviously. The NFC's pretty loaded, man. You can't really say, that team is for sure the best team in the NFC. I think a lot of people are pointing to Green Bay right now as the best team in the NFC after what they did to Pittsburgh, and the fact that they only have 1 loss, but they had that 1 tie where they gave up 40 points to the Cowboys. So, Jordan Love the other night, I mean, he threw 20 he completed 20 passes in a row. And that I'm not his biggest fan. I have to give him credit right there. He played a hell of a ball game.
Jordan Love.
No doubt. Tough division right there, my friend. We're going to see. I'm rooting for you, Lions. I'm always rooting for my Niners. I'm rooting for my fantasy teams because I want to win money. And I'm, of course, going to be rooting for my bets. I had a good weekend, by the way. I'll tell you about that another time. I had some really good weekends. The 1 o'clock games kind of hit me a little bit, but 4 o'clock, the night game, and then last night I had Kansas City in the under. Very, very happy. I wish there was another game on tonight because I'm freaking hot, man. I want to play.
Right? You don't want it to
Still.
cool down.
Prime, always a good time, my friend. $1.50, no problem. It feels like nothing. I can do this all night long with you, bro.
Absolutely, man. I look forward to every Tuesday. Make sure you guys out there listen to us, give us a follow, like, subscribe, tell your friends about us. And yeah, man, it's always a pleasure being on here with you, man. I love doing this. I love it.
Awesome stuff, man. Power 32 Podcast here to say, yes, please like, subscribe to our channel so you can make sure that you can get in on every show, get into the chat, which surprisingly was quiet today. Normally, these guys don't stop.
NBA, I think. Yeah, a lot of
I'm right. The NBA is back, which I'm definitely going to put on now. I'm going to watch my Knicks play the Bucks and see if we can get a victory over here. So I'm ready to go. But Prime, great show, great time. Love doing it. We'll be back next week to do it again.
Yes, sir. Peace.
All right. Peace, everyone. We're out.